Yeah, absolutely, Jack. Thank you. My name is Eli Pampa. I'm the former head of sales and marketing at Tate. I run a marketing consulting agency, also now called Cloud Profit, where we service clients anywhere from beginners to already making 7 and 8 figures. And we consult them on marketing, we help them to grow, and they've had extraordinary results. Many clients have gotten hundreds of thousands starting out, and many who have already been established have gotten many more millions on top on the revenue. The way that we work with things is we help them with the marketing, the sales, the presentation, the oration, and some of the more esoteric stuff, such as aura and projection on the camera. So these are all things that we do, and we've been very successful with this, and we've made a lot of impact with this. And I hope to share some of the knowledge with you guys here in your audience.
When it comes down to marketing, affiliates, content, you guys have some of the best systems in the game. You've had skin in this game for quite a while. How did you enter the online space? What was your first experience?
It's been a long time now. I think it's been since 2020. That was during COVID. I had, everybody was home from college, and I had nothing. Basically, I was stuck in my basement. I had no money, no girls. I was out of shape. I had acne and stuff. I was in a low place, and I found Tate, and I joined his mastermind community, the War Room. Then I went to meet him. I spent $12,000, all the money I had, from doing some copywriting freelancing, which I started off inside the mastermind program that he had. And then I just went and I pitched myself to him, and I started working with him because he saw something in me. He saw a competent guy, and he told me to speak to Luke, and that's how one thing spiraled off into another, then one of my own after. But yeah, it's been a while, man. It really was really just a matter of circumstance. I'm not sure if I would have taken the online path. I was on the path to go to Wall Street when I was studying. I was studying at Duke University, and if this hadn't happened, COVID, I would have probably been right now at a cubicle doing 80, 90-hour work weeks on an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm quite grateful it has turned out this way.
Yeah, it's a crazy story as well, joining as a mentee or one of the people who'd purchased the course to actually starting to work inside the organization. Um, and also, I feel like it's a very notable point that you took the risk at a point where there was basically no security, your last bit of money to go out. Like, what gave you that belief in yourself that you were going to make something work from this opportunity?
Well, look, man, I've always been a winner in life. I think everything I've done, I've tried to be or been the best at what I've done. I'm not saying this in any arrogant way, but my brain's active. I work hard. I dedicate to it. I don't give up. I think these are the core tenets of achieving anything in life. And yeah, I just took a gamble on myself like I did before. I said, what do I have to lose? And I think this is a mindset that's very, very important that people have if they want to make it, because you're never going to make it if you never risk. And if you're scared to spend money, especially to meet people, to be around people who can change your life, because there are so many very intelligent and capable people in the world, but they simply do not have the doors open for them. You think about, there's probably a genius in Africa right now, in Tanzania or something like this, living in Moshi Mountain, and he will never, ever achieve anything his true potential if someone doesn't open the door for him, doesn't show him, hey, you can have the Lambo, you can have the jet, you can have this life, this amazing life. He will never even want to go that because it's not even in his conception. Do you know what I mean?
I totally understand, man. And I feel like it is a common story of the people who end up being successful is that they're willing to put themselves out there, take those big risks, sometimes use leverage, go into debt, move cities. Like they're taking moves into people, mentorships that other people aren't willing to take. And that's why they become successful because ultimately, like the more times you fail, like that is the best sign that you're making progress towards success. So any risk that you take, whether it goes well or bad, it's just always momentum.
Correct, momentum. But more importantly than that, I want to double down. It's the people that you gain access to that can open doors for you that you previously did not believe was possible for you. That's the key, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and it reminds you that you're going to be part of that game as well. So could you talk us through then, like, what's the first time that you ever met Andrew Tate or Luke, and what was it like when you first met them, and how did you get that conversation started and present yourself across in a way that they saw the potential in you?
Well, this was at the Mastermind event in April of 2021 in Miami, and when I was meeting him for the first time, he has aura. What if no other way to put it? Really, he makes you feel warm. He makes you feel special, like you're the only person in the world. He creates like a tunnel between you and him, and they're just very sharp, competent people. And I presented myself as the same thing, not someone with experience, but someone who was capable and willing to learn more than others, because I think this is a very key distinction here. A lot of people watching this video, you got to be honest with yourself and brutal reality. Am I like a sharp, smart person who gets things quickly? Most probably aren't. Not as much as you probably think. There are really, really smart people in this world. So yeah, I just stood out in this way, and I think it's a very. But the beauty of this is that my case is not unique. It's not like this is not a replicable formula. I think it's just you got to be as healthy as possible, be in good shape, have tried very hard, have a track record of success in different things, and you can change that in 1 second. Really, you can change that, make a decision, and in 3 months you can become a winner. You are literally just a few action steps away from that. So that's how I presented myself to Tate, and I think he saw something in me of himself at a young age, and Luke himself too. So that's really the story of everybody. Everybody always presents themselves as a young competent guy at the start, and they work their way up. They work under somebody, you know.
100%. And did you feel at the start as well that you were able to kind of present yourself with a level of respect where it didn't feel like you were being spoken down to, but that you were seeing eye to eye, being able to have like an intelligent conversation where you both add value from the start?
No, you're not going to add value at the start necessarily. The only value you'll add is in your potential, is in what you can become, right? That's the only thing. You cannot expect to be at the same level of somebody like that. You have to understand your role in the hierarchy. You have to understand that people are more successful than you. They've gone through life. Same way now, I have people that I mentor, people that I teach, and they, ideally, my best students, they have the same attitude, and it's amazing because I see them grow, I see them flourish, and eventually, the student equals or surpasses the master. That's the cycle of learning. You have to be as a teacher. You have to be without ego enough to where you accept that this is reality is going to happen. You're going to have students who are going to surpass you. You got to be very happy about that. So it's just a natural cycle of life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So more about the willingness to learn, the effort that you're going to put in, and just how you come across, rather than the concrete skills or the conversations at the start. And then, how did you end up also working in on affiliates with Luke Belmar? Do you have a story about how you met him too? I'd be pretty interested to hear how that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always very clear about Luke Belmar that I have never met him or worked with him personally. My team members, on the other hand, were working with him, and they were the number one affiliates for his Capital Club Ambassador program, generating most of the views. And this is a common theme across a very skilled, high-level short-form content editor and the rest of the average editors, is that it was only a handful that generated 99% of the views and the traffic for all those guys, for Tate, for Iman, for Jordan, for all these guys, for Belmar. It's all the same guys, literally a handful of guys. And I'm thankful to have 17 of those on my team at Cloud Profit who, service different clients, and we teach and we consult on these things. But it's yeah, people really make the misconception that you can just spam content and go viral and have results. That's not the case at all. It's a system, it's a conversion machine, it's an elite forces, really. You don't need that many people.
Made you and the other successful affiliates stand out from everybody else who didn't really drive any traffic or results?
Well, I'll say that I wasn't an affiliate. I was the director of sales and marketing. My team members were affiliates, and as affiliates, they stood out in terms of their editing skill, in terms of their knowledge of marketing, in terms of the knowledge of psychology, what's going to hit, what hooks to use, what viral formats to use, what kind of editing is going to hit best. What are the trends that are happening right now? Because you got to think about all of these guys, these affiliates. They all had access to the same content, didn't they? The same B-rolls, the same clips, the same clips of Tate and Belmar and all these guys speaking, but they still stood out above the rest, right? It's a skill difference. People really, really need to understand this and need to look for the very best training to train their editors, or if they can hire them, very expensive, but much more economical for them to just learn it and implement it for themselves, and better for them too, for their own team. You don't want to be paying an agency month after month. You want to have it in-house, have your editors be top tier, and really be in love with your brand and push it as much as we did with Tate and Belmar operations.
Yeah. Would you say that that is a system that is replicable, so other people can get the same results if they learn the secrets of the trade, they advance their levels of knowledge on marketing, systems, psychology?
We are always limited by our own human capabilities. The knowledge can be secret, can be amazing, and yes, that's exactly what we provide. We provide secret and amazing and better information, yes, but it's still up to the person who learns and implements. Two people can go to Harvard. Are both of them going to come out geniuses? No, right? But you will come out better than if you went to some no-name college. So it's still a good bet for you. You want to maximize every advantage you have. So if you have the funds to invest in such a high tier level of info and education, right, then do it. because you're going to be the best that you could possibly be.
Yeah, amazing. And then what would you say is one specific thing that you've learned from Andrew Tate that you still think about today?
You know what? I actually made a recent video on this, going to come out soon on my channel, where people ask me this question: where what's the number one thing you learned from Tate, from Belmar, or all these? I've met a bunch of millionaires and billionaires by now, who have all mentored me in different ways in different areas of life. There is no one thing that makes the big difference. It's everything put together. It's, as I said before, it's how they think about things. It's how they move through the world. It's how they interact. It's how they make decisions. How they consider things. This is learning via osmosis, via being around these people. You can't pinpoint one specific thing that a person does that help you to reach the next level by being around them. No, because otherwise, people would read a book on this person and they'd have the same success they can. But that's not the case. There's loads of very successful, intelligent people who have released books, but the impact of reading the book versus actually being around the person and being mentored by them directly is nowhere near the same impact as it has. If you have the opportunity to get around very special, very competent, highly intelligent people in life, you need to take that chance whatever you can. Whether it's you meeting them organically, which is very rare, right? Or whether it's you paying for access to them. Don't be afraid to pay for access to masterminds, to courses, to lectures, even to meetups, to see if you can potentially pitch yourself to them. Go to expensive places, fancy hotels, expensive restaurants, bars, all these high-end places, where these people are hanging out. You will spend money. That's the name of the game. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars, even back then when I spent 12K, now I spend much more on mentors and stuff like this, and it's catapulted my success. It's the best investment you can possibly make. You can't get back time and experience, but you can get back money.
That's absolute gold. Like that is super useful advice. Like positioning yourself in different areas of the planet, positioning yourselves in the right places within a city to meet cool, high frequency people is going to have a massive impact. And as well, like as children, I think we learn about 80% of things through imitation. And then even as an adult, we learn 55% of things through imitation. So if you have a coach or a mentor, then the biggest effect that they're going to have is not just the knowledge that they tell you, but it's how they act and operate daily. And it's that imitation side. So I would love to know then, like, how do you see high performers who you've been around operate on their day-to-day actions? Like, are they fast moving? What does it look like?
So everybody's different. Everybody has their own rhythm. It's a very personal thing, really. And the most successful people really know themselves how they tick. So one of my business partners now, he's a billionaire. He's a bit older than me, actually not that much older. And he basically disappears for like 2 to 3 months out of the year and just drinks, goes and parties. It sounds crazy to think about, right? You might think that these really super successful people work all day, every day, 24/7. That's not the case. He works like an animal for 9 months, and then 3 months he's gone. He's just partying, going out with girls and drinking and being a DJ, right? But he discovered that for himself. You will have your own unique version of what is it I need to be functioning optimally, right? Do I need to go out? Do I need to play football? Do I need to, paint? Whatever it is that you need to do, you need to figure it out for yourself as quickly as possible. The work is non-negotiable. You still need to work extremely hard and be obsessed about something, but you need these auxiliary elements in your life handled completely. Otherwise, it's going to rear its ugly head and it's going to come back in a worse way. If you have vices that are not taken care of, even satisfied in a small way, you might just fall off the deep end and go alcoholic for 2, 3 months when you didn't want to, versus you would have just had a few drinks a week, you would have been fine. So these are things you have to consider for yourself.
Yeah, no, this makes sense as being like a very personal thing. And I think
Yep.
performers, like entrepreneurs, perform well when they're well emotionally regulated, and whatever that is for them, like whether it's like stable relationships around them or an outlet. Because when you're like well emotionally regulated, you go into work and you are able to tackle the most high priority tasks and actually remain focused. So yeah, I think that that's pretty useful advice. I mean, we even met on a night out in Bali. You never really know as well like how recharging certain environments could be for you or how draining. And also in those environments, you never know who you're going to meet as well. Like when you're in any sort of marketplace where there's an exchange of people, you might meet the person that you're going to live in a villa next year, or someone who you'll do a podcast with, someone who you'll make a deal with. So it's
I will say I will say I will say some I will say something here, Jack, on your previous point that you have to be well emotionally regulated. That's actually not always the case. You can be very unhinged and be very successful because it requires that level of obsession sometimes. Some people can be balanced, right? For certain roles, for certain things in life, that's good. But sometimes the people are just psycho, they're crazy, and they go hard, super hard, and they achieve the most results. Do you think Elon Musk is emotionally balanced and intelligent? Probably not all the time, right? He's just one example. There's many people out there, and he's frankly not even the richest person in the world. There's loads of hidden people that are way richer than him who are, in a similar way. It's just about finding what works for you, right? Are you unhinged? Are you crazy? Are you normal? Whatever it is, if it works for you, double down and go on it. Go for it. There will be a time when you leave that phase in your life and you will emotionally regulate or heal or do what you want. But there are times in life where you're in war, where you need to actually go super hard and you do what works, right?
Yeah, great. And what do you think that most people who are operating at those highest levels, what do you think they're truly motivated by?
They love the game because after 7 or 8 figures, it's there's not much more motivation to make money. You can do anything. You can tell anybody to fuck off, right? That's always a number, 8 figures once you hit that. After this, it's just you just loving the game, you loving the competition. It gives you adrenaline. Like, 'cause what else is there to do, man? Have kids, have a family. Yeah, that's great. But what else after this? It all becomes boring. You want some sort of competition. And the two biggest games in this life are reproduction and capitalism. Nobody escapes those two games in life, right? You can check out of it. You can go live as a hobo, but that's not a good life. Go compete in the world. So I think a lot of people are coping that this is not a game that they have to play. Of course, you can play it in your own way, right? But it's still a game you play. Everybody, you can't just stop working. You don't eat. So we have to all compete in this system of things. Even if you want to be outside the matrix, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I'm interested in that idea of the matrix. So it's obviously something that Tate talks about a lot. Like, how do you see the matrix?
So look, man, the matrix is like everything around us, which is like controlling us, which it doesn't allow us to be free. Our natural state as human beings on this earth, I believe, is that we're born to wake up, chill, we fuck, we eat, hang out, maybe do a bit of hunting, whatever, and then go to sleep. And that's it. Unlimited abundance. Sometimes we have some lack, but we're eating and we're doing these things again. In what world is it ever like rational or sane to build a multi 8 or 9 figure company? It's not a normal thing to do. It's not natural for us, right? We do that because we need capitalism. We do that because because of the capitalistic system, we then want to impress women. We want to have the best possible chances of reproduction, either reproducing ourselves, preserving those who have reproduced, or preserving those that have reproduced us. It all comes down to those things. So we're in this game. We can't really escape it. All you can really do is, if you want to beat this game, is just not play, just be a homeless person, which I know very cool homeless people. Some guys, particularly in Hawaii, who have an amazing time and just chill there, and they're very cool. Um, or you have super, super successful people. Anybody in the middle is fucked, right? You have the story of Alexander.
You're either kind of like rejecting the premise of the game, like becoming a Buddha, like being homeless, like going on a spiritual journey to uh, escape materialism, or if you're going to play the game, you may as well play it well. Like, you may as well have the biggest impact, make the most money. But I think that people are motivated by something beyond money, like the power that they can have in the world, uncovering knowledge, or other even deeper incentives that drive people than money at the highest level.
It's a game. It's power as well. Like well, look, I'll be frank here. At a certain point, though, you can keep going down this game. You will reach. It's from what I've been told, it's $1 to $3 billion more or less, and then like the elites, the Illuminati, if you will actually try to recruit you. Less if you're more famous. It requires less money, and it's sliding scale, because it's just at a certain point. They just control everything, man. This is just the unfortunate reality of things. It's really like a spiritual war. It's good versus evil. There is evil in the world, but that also necessitates that there's good. Right now, evil is winning, but we can only combat this not by try to overthrow governments and things. We can only combat this by doing good in the world, genuinely from the bottom of our hearts. The bakery shop who opens up on weekends and feeds people for free. That's good. They don't want that. They don't want that kind of good stuff. Genuine good from the bottom of your heart. That's all that we can do. You make money, you become successful, you beat the game, so you can give back, and you can help those who are less fortunate, less capable.
It's a bit of a small tangent, but the I'm a massive fan of Lord of the Rings, and the author of that, J.R.R. Tolkien, he writes a lot on kind of like good versus evil. So obviously, like the orcs, the Middle Earth dark forces against evil, against the good guys, and I think his philosophy on it is kind of that good is the small everyday actions that keep people away. So like good conversations, behavior,
Correct. People are inherently good people. They're they're tainted by evil, but we're made good in God's image. So, most people you see, they'll help out the neighbor when they need it. They're not going to go rob and steal. And most of society is good. It's just tainted by evil. That's what's happening. So, yeah, anything we can do to counter that, even in a small scale, is always helps.
Yeah, awesome, man. I would love to switch this for the last section to go a bit of a deep dive on specific like marketing tactics. So, for example, I'd love to just have a bit of advice on how to create effective hooks that are able to go viral and drive traffic to your offer.
Yeah, so a hook, the purpose of a hook is always to make someone go like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And then have them click. That's it. You don't want to sell in the hook necessarily. You want to get people to stop, get people to read it, get people to take an action, and you can even pre-sell sometimes. So very good hooks are unique mechanism hooks, right? If you have the latest AI systems which helps you to fly, wow, that's something I never heard before. Or some contradictions, right? You can work less and make more money. How is that possible, right? Date less and get more girls. You know, if you put these things together, you got to think about it, right? I have step-by-step frameworks of how to make a good hook as well, which I share inside my program, which are very, very powerful. But the main premise of this, the way to think about it is like this: just, do I read this as a retard? Because you always got to put yourself into the mind of a retard, because they don't have an attention span and they're dumb. Does me as a retard read this or listen to this? Does this capture me? And you really got to train your brain to be able to do this. And then once you train your brain more and more, you'll be able to just pick up hooks from everywhere. Be like, hey, that looks good. Let me repurpose that into my own program or my own offer or whatever I'm promoting, right? Yeah, that's basically how you get good at it. It's a skill.
And also these like visual pattern disruptors, like the background you're in right now, it's super random, but it's just like it's fucking. It makes people think like, oh, where's Eli? Like, what's he doing? Like, it's a bit of like what's going on? And I guess if you can do anything like that in the start of your ad on a hook, like wear a weird outfit, wear a weird shirt or something, it's probably gonna drive some extra attention to it, right?
Absolutely. And not just in the hook. You can put this into any process inside of the sales cycle. Because ultimately, this is what it is. The hook is just the start of a sales cycle. You want to ultimately bring them to giving you money. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you stay stuck in their heads? Partway through the sales cycle, you can ask a weird question such as like, "How long did you sleep last night?" You'd be like, "Well, I don't know, like 3 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours." Okay, cool, good to know. And then you move on. Why the fuck did he ask that question? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Right? These curveballs, these make people think. Next time they're thinking, I'm going to sleep. Wait, this guy told me how long I sleep. He sells windows. You know, you don't have to do this autistically, but you can work these kind of things into your offer. There are many ways to do this, really, but it's very powerful because then people remember you for those things because it's so out of the ordinary.
So what's more important in terms of content, quality or quantity?
Both, brother. Now with AI, you can do both. AI is amazing. If you have the proper Claude setups for VSLs, for scripts, for long forms, for carousels, for short form content, you can pump these scripts out quick and make them to teleprompter versions out very fast. You can train yourself to read them quickly. You can make very high quality content very, very fast now. Anybody who's not using AI properly, and not just any AI, you can be like, hey, I'm gonna load up Claude. I'm gonna, get these things. Hey, make me a VSL. No, no, no. You need to be an expert at VSLs in order to create the proper prompt, have the proper project files to pull from so Claude can educate itself on it. So then you can write a good VSL. You cannot just say, hey, write me a VSL because of Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz or Claude Hopkins, Scientific Advertising. Put these books together, get Gary Venga, get all these good copywriters and make a good VSL. No, you're not going to get a good VSL. You need a very custom and very detailed prompt that goes through all the interchangings, all the considerations of what makes a good VSL, and then also custom frameworks for making these VSLs. That's what you need. Otherwise, you're going to get cooked. Your VSLs will just be worse. And the worst part about AI, the big danger is that AI is very agreeable. So AI will tell you you're a genius, and you'll think, I am a genius. AI can't be wrong. Claude's always right. You're a genius. It's not the case. Claude is just agreeing with you. That's what it does. ChatGPT, Gemini, all these are the same. You still have to be an expert, or if you're not an expert, receive expert guidance. It's required. Otherwise, you will fail.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely getting the AI to be a bit more combative and actually like point out the flaws that you can go in on and extract like more real insights from. So another part of this, which I'm interested to know, is do you think it's more important to create good videos, like good content, or the distribution strategies? So like sending it around on different accounts, having affiliates, things like that. What do you think has like a bigger impact on actually getting leads?
Look, it's definitely the quality of the content, right? If you make a very good YouTube video, that can in and of itself go viral and rank for a search topic, and you can make a lot of views, get a lot of leads, make a lot of money. Distribution without quality is nothing. It's just like you're multiplying zero by zero, you know, two by zero, five by zero, 10 by zero. It doesn't do anything. So you need the quality as well. That's important.
Fire. And then how do you take people then from being somebody who's interested, interacted with your content to somebody who's actually qualified to be a buyer and get them on a sales call? What does your standard sort of setting process look like?
Well, very simple. People watch my YouTube videos. They engage on Instagram. They may message us on Telegram. They join the Telegram channel, and then they watch the VSL on our website at cloudprofit.com. And if they're a fit, they're a match, then they book in a call with us after filling out a questionnaire which qualifies them automatically. I have a very optimized set of qualification questions, which can be adapted to any offer as well. And then you have a good qualified lead that you talk to, and you close them on the call. It's very simple. So, but yeah, this is something I've been doing for a while now. It's a quite universal funnel. The really details in terms of how this funnel works is in how good are your qualification questions, how good is your copy, how good is your VSL, what's the framing of the entire thing, and that will make the difference because everybody can copy the funnel, but are you going to do as good as me? Good luck.
And in terms of sales as well, have you had much experience like doing sales calls yourself? And do you have any tips for sales side, or are you more of like pure marketing guy?
All day, because the thing is, I started off as a salesman. I was the number one salesman for Cobra Take. I sold cars before too as well. I've done a bunch of sales jobs, and sales is analogous to marketing in the way that marketing is just sales to many people without immediate feedback. It's the same mind frames, it's the same objections you have, it's the same beliefs that you need to install inside their heads. It's just you're doing it one on one where we're speaking, and I'm getting direct feedback from you in terms of like what your objections are, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. I can read your face or vibe everything. Marketing is just doing it to the masses without that immediate feedback. But the reactions of the people are very similar. How you sell one person is how you sell a million people. You just have to scale it. You gotta dial it in. So yeah, I guess your question wasn't like, you have any sales tips? Is that what you're asking?
I think that answers the question though. That's nice because anything that applies to marketing does apply to sales, but it's just at a more specific lens on a specific person. But you still have to think about psychology, keeping them engaged with the conversation. But obviously, there's a bit more nuance that goes into extracting their exact situation and connecting that with the offer. Eli, so you've traveled the world a lot as well. I would just be interested as well if you just have any just fun, unhinged stories about people you've met, things you've done. Like,
Oh man, what can I say here? I got a lot of shit. Um, what can I say? Okay, I'll say this. This funny story recently happened. Yeah, so we booked a hotel with my one of my clients. Let's just say I won't say where it is because I'll give them away. But basically, I my flight got canceled at the airport, so I couldn't board it. So I went back to the hotel. He said that he had checked out. He hadn't checked out apparently. He was dishonest with me, and I walked in on him and his girlfriend, and I was just like, bruv, and she was naked and everything, and I'm just like, bro, come on. I got nowhere to stay. But that was pretty funny. But bro, there's loads of shit that I can only say behind the scenes, really, because it's just really just too crazy for the cameras. Yeah, you'd have to come meet me, join my community, get more access to me. Because a lot of these stories are very useful. There's a lot of lessons that come from these stories. When you live life very hard. Yeah.
I think as well, you get to a point in entrepreneurship where you just want to be around cool people who are actually interesting, fun to be around. It's not always pure business talk that people are actually seeking to want from their friendships and connections. And then finally, do you have any other interesting stories about Andrew Tate?
The most interesting story that people like to hear about Tate, me particularly, is that I was in Dubai one time. We were working together in his mansion, and he went to change because he had to do some meetings. So he went inside, he came back out, he was sporting a fresh new leather jacket. And I'm like, hey, Andrew, looking spiffy. And he just looked down, he's like, thanks, and he blushed. And at that point, I was like, that's a side of Andrew I had never ever seen before. Immediately he went back into character. He's like, hey guys, how's it going? How's sales? How's things? Blah, blah, blah. Right back into his top G state. But in that split second of a moment, I'm just like, this is the real Andrew Tate. This is the Tate behind the layers, behind the scenes. Not just the Tate that's behind the cameras, but the real Tate even behind the cameras. So I was like, huh, interesting. Tate really just was a 17-year-old Chester when he started out. He made himself into something, but this is deep down who he really is. I think people don't change who they really are. I think we need to get in touch with who we really are in order to have the best possible life. Because if you're living a lie, eventually it's going to crumble down and it's gonna affect you in a bad way.
Yeah. And you think deep down, do you think Tate's a good guy?
I think he's a psychopath, but I don't think psychopaths are always bad. I think it's very circumstantial.
Okay. Mate, Eli, this has been super fun chatting to you. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's been good to get some of your insights. We'll have to run it up when you're back in Bali sometime.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me, bro. Where can people find us, Jack?
Just started off the new YouTube and Spotify channels, just The Systems Podcast. It's about systems, online business, interviewing entrepreneurs, building system-based businesses and leverage.
Awesome, good stuff, guys. Check out Jack. He's a very cool guy, very smart, very capable. Where you can find me at cloudprofit.com before the offer closes on March 29th. Our YouTube channel is same thing, youtube.com/@cloudprofit, and on Instagram the very same thing as well. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Jack.